to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. In preparation for RealityCon 3, which is coming up, I've been doing some extra episodes on money, prosperity, and all the dynamics that are related to making money, attracting money, financial security, wealth, money magnetism, and we have really gone deep in the relationship that we have with money. So I wanted to dedicate an episode on what you can call the Money Enigma. That is, using and spending money and how it relates to your prosperity, and to go into this a little bit more and further so that we can clarify our relationship with money on this spiritual journey. There's little likelihood that your life can become fully functioning with prosperity unless you have a positive and creative attitude towards money. It is rare that a day will pass when you will not have some kind of monetary involvement with the world. You may go into the day with the highest intention to walk in the light of truth and service, but if you have not resolved the money enigma, you quickly lose your lofty awareness the moment you dip into your wallet. A survey was once conducted by a research department of the University of Michigan. In essence, they wanted to know what effect money had on the lives of people. 3 of their findings: what do people worry about most? Money. What makes people the happiest? Money. What makes people the unhappiest? Money. So when I have people placing comments on my videos saying, Brian, you need to stop talking about money. Well, if that is the truth of these findings, that it makes people the most happiest and unhappy, and what they worry about the most, we have to deal with this and talk about it. And perhaps you're not going to learn everything you need to know or understand everything in a single episode. You may say these results from this survey do not include you, for your mind is stayed on God as ever-present substance. In the ever-eternal moment, you are always focused on God, and money plays no role. But no matter how lofty your spiritual ideals may be, no matter how many powerful affirmations you can speak, you have to pay your bills. Emerson obviously experienced difficulties with this. He tells of a man who rose to the empyrean heights and dove to the unfathomable depths, but never paid cash. This episode is included in this prosperity study, full well realizing there are some persons who think it is a sacrilege to talk about money in a spiritual context. They are quick to quote scriptures, money is the root of all evils. Actually, this is the most misquoted of all Bible passages. What Paul really said is the love of money is the root of all evils. 1 Timothy 6:10. Money is innocent. It is the love of money, the consciousness in which you use money, that is the cause of much limitation. And you could turn it around and say the right attitude toward money is a root of all kinds of prosperity. It is just such misquotation of the Bible. There are many other instances that has given rise to the confused dualism about money in the religions of the Western world. On the one hand, riches have been condemned as dangerous to man's spiritual growth, while on the other hand, churches have needed money for their support and have welcomed the affluent, on the one hand subjecting them to sermons about the evils of wealth, and on the other hand expecting them to make the substantial gifts that subsidize the church programs. How can money at one and at the same time be a sought-after necessity of life and yet be a handicap to one's spiritual growth? How can money be evil when no one, not even people of God, can do without it? It is the most difficult aspect of third density. For many people, they struggle with this. I may sound like a broken record. I've talked about this in dozens of episodes, but I have a reason for being a broken record, and that's because I can still feel the resistance, and I want you to be okay being wealthy and rich in the right way. Money supported Albert Schweitzer in the steaming jungles of Africa, where he labored unselfishly for the natives. Gandhi, in his extreme poverty, going about the land of India with his loincloth and a little spinning wheel, giving the image of abject poverty, required a lot of money to care for him and his entourage. One of his followers said, "It takes an awful lot of money to keep Gandhi living in poverty." Even Jesus and his disciples were supported by money. This aspect of his ministry is rarely considered, since Jesus has been given the image of a magic worker who would simply pull money out of the air. In the 8th chapter of Luke, there is a very revealing phrase: certain women ministered unto him of their substance. Luke 8:2-3. What could be clearer than that some of his followers were women of means who simply paid much of the expenses? Jesus clearly accepted his fiscal responsibility. Note how he agreed to pay the Romans' head tax that had been levied on his group. He instructed Peter the fisherman to go to the sea and catch a fish, in the mouth of which he would find a gold coin. Traditionalists have viewed this as one of the great miracles of the Bible, seemingly abrogating the economic process. This is an excellent example of the need to understand the contemporary use of idiom and metaphor in order to make an accurate translation from one language and culture to another. In clearly identifiable idiomatic language, Jesus was saying to Peter, "Go out and bring in a catch of fish, sell it in the marketplace, and you will have sufficient money to pay the tax." It is a common kind of idiom. Ranchers in the West often say of a steer, "He's worth $40 on the hoof." In India, it might be said of an ox, "You'll find 30 pieces of silver in his horn." Jesus indicated his willingness to work within the system when he commented, "At this time render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's." Matthew 22:21. One thing is certain. In the world, a monetary means of exchange is indispensable. Without money, there could be no civilization. Culture and currency are intimately related. Barter belongs to primitive and savage peoples. People had to develop a symbol that would bind people together in their commercial relationships with the spiritual ideas of faith and credit before there could evolve a civilized society. Through the ages, hundreds of different objects have served as the medium of exchange, including such things as slaves, salt, gunpowder, and the jawbones of pigs. You may have seen pictures of the 7-foot-high pieces of stone money on the South Pacific island of Yap. Wherever any culture has sprung up, you can be sure you will find some form of monetary system. What is money? The economists have had a problem defining it other than in terms of the function it performs. British economist Sir Ralph Hottery says, "Money is one of those concepts which, like a teaspoon or an umbrella, but unlike an earthquake or a buttercup, are definable primarily by the use or purpose which they serve." Money is not real wealth at all. Rather, it is a device for measuring wealth. Note, for instance, that if the Federal Reserve System should increase the quantity of money in the country by dumping $1 billion into circulation overnight, it would not add one thing to the country's wealth. What is money? A piece of paper? Who would stoop down and pick up a dirty piece of paper lying in the gutter? Yet if this dirty piece of paper has the official imprint of the United States government on it, along with figures 100 on its corners, who would not leap upon it and put this dirty paper in his or her pocket as a prized possession? So, then what is money? Money is an enabling symbol. It is a tangible representation of intangible universal substance, as Eric Butterworth calls it, which enables you to provide food, shelter, clothing, entertainment, books, leisure, and security against want. How does it do this? You do not build your house out of paper dollars, and you don't eat the coins. Money is an enabling symbol that gives rise to faith and trust, credit and cooperation, which starts a flow of activity. I take $50 and hand it to the grocer and receive food in exchange. The grocer gives the money to the food distributors, and they to the suppliers, and they to the farmer, who uses the money to buy seed and feed. Round and round it goes in a process that we call the economy. But in back of it all comes the basic substance of life, harnessed and directed by the activity of faith. This word substance is the substance of all things, as described in the Science of Getting Rich. Get the positive thought. Money is good. Money is God in action, as Raymond Charles Barker refers to it. Say it with me. Money is good. Money is God in action. Check out my Money is God in Action guided meditation. It's important because it'll change your view of money, and you'll change the way you spend and use it and think about it. Speak these words over a few times. Money is good. Money is God in action. It is not to make an object of getting money or loving money for itself. We simply want to eliminate some of the negatives with which we have surrounded it. Money is good. You don't have to feel guilty about having it. It is a currency or creative flow of divine activity. Money passes through your hands many times a day. Maybe a little money if you should happen to be on welfare or living on Social Security or getting a stipend from your parents, or it may be millions if you're a person of affluence. You are constantly buying and selling and earning and spending. More than you may be aware of, money is an extension of the person who uses it. Your thoughts and feelings color it, making it filthy lucre or blessed divine substance. If you think positively and creatively about your money, you actually multiply its effectiveness. If you criticize and depreciate it, you actually tend to dissipate it and repel it from you. It seems logical to assume that money always represents abundance, but it doesn't. For most persons, at least, most of the time, money is a symbol of lack. We tend to think of it in relationship to what we would like to have or think we should have. For instance, the figure on your paycheck may well symbolize to you injustice. They don't pay me enough. Unappreciation. They're not aware of how valuable I am. And insufficiency. How can I live on this? With all the rising costs and inflation. Something I struggled with for a long time. I was, and still am, an alcoholic. So in the throes of my alcoholism, I would have opportunities to make money. And there was a deep part of me I wasn't even aware of that said, if I get too much money, I'm going to drink it. So I could go and make $30,000 working for the mortgage company I'm at, but I would purposely not do as well and make just enough because there was some part of me that knew if I received too much money, then I would drink it all away. And so I pushed money away all the time. I wasn't even aware of it until I had a mentor that showed this to me. And so part of my own prosperity came from finding sobriety and releasing this belief that it would destroy my life. If you were asked, how much do you earn a week? You would probably reply, I only make $200 or $500 or $1,000 a week. But why the only? It is a self-inventory term that is commonly used. People say, I only make. But it invariably represents limitation. How much money do you have on your person? Only $43.22. Why the only? As long as this onlyness consciousness is in any way identified with your money, you are depreciating it. Take stock right now of all your references to money. This may be difficult, but try it. It is often said about some financial commitment, oh, it's only money. It is a subtle put down. It is just flippant attitudes towards money that create resistance, which blocks the flow of the substance current. Note the current gives rise to the word currency. Have you ever noticed the grim expressions on people's faces as they go to their purses or wallets for money to make a payment? What goes through your mind when you have to make a payment? Maybe it's a little uncomfortable. Maybe you have a $150 dinner bill that you have to pay. What goes through your mind when you have to pay it? What do you project from your mind when you make those payments? You buy a $200 suit or something like that. What goes through your mind? It would strongly suggest a negative identification if you're having negative thoughts when you spend money. The need is to turn this around, and I want you, by the end of this episode, to turn this around. Money is good. Money is God in action. Feel good about making contact with the divine current. Handle the currency with the joyous feeling that you're in the flow. If you're making a large payment that feels like it's a lot, I challenge you to do it with joy. I challenge you to do it with joy, no matter how much it is. Take out a dollar bill and hold it in your hands. Bless it. Turn it face up. The side with the black printing. The identifying feature of the dollar on this side is the number 1 or 5 or 10 or so on. The number represents the bill's limitation. It is $1, not 1 penny more. Now turn the bill over to the green side. Focus your attention on that lovely inscription. In God we trust. No, what you have done. As you turn the bill over, you turn from limitation to limitlessness. From onlyness, it is only $1, to allness. And say with me, I put my trust in the allness of infinite supply. Remember, your money is an extension of you. It is a symbol of limitation or of limitlessness according to how you think while you use it. When you receive or spend money, think green. As you handle it, keep the green side up. Speaking figuratively, of course. In other words, keep your identity with money as a symbol of limitless God substance. I try not to look at the side that has the amount, unless I have to, but I always try to be looking at the other side where there's that limitlessness. Buy an item at a newsstand and hand the man $1. Render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's. But as you do this, become conscious that you're giving way to the limitless flow of prospering substance. Unto God the things that are God. It is a mental discipline. It is reacting because you are projecting something every time you spend money. And I want you to get into a habit of reacting to your spending money. And this will help you immeasurably in building and maintaining a prosperity consciousness. H.C. Materne had failed in nearly everything he had done. His marriage was broken, his business had failed, and he was down to his very last dollar. He became so desperate that he attempted suicide, but he failed at that too. Then he was struck by the Promethean urge, which is the upward pull of spirit in man. Life is always biased on the side of healing and renewal. If you are patient and open, the light breaks through the dark clouds and comes rushing into your hungry heart. So something happened to Materne. In an amazing turnabout, he stopped looking to externals for help. He no longer looked at money as a goal or as a measuring stick of success. He began seeing money as a current of the divine resource. And the $1 he had was an adequate reminder of that resource. After all, it was the reminder he needed, not Fort Knox. He turned the green side up. In God I trust. Ultimately, into his awareness came an idea that gave rise to a creative business enterprise that made him a great amount of money, enough to have made him a wealthy man had he saved his money. Instead, he gave most of it away as it came. He said, "Since I stopped looking to money, I have been happy and prosperous. Why go back to the old way now?" The first thing Materne had to overcome was the feeling of needing money. Have you had a time of financial stringency and you cried out, "I need money"? It is a confusion of priorities. More importantly, you need faith. You need to believe in your flow of creativity. You need ideas. Actually, it could be said that your money needs you. As long as you have impressed on your money the thought of insufficiency, it will continue to misrepresent you in your time of need. But if you consciously imbue your money with the idea of abundance, it will begin to work for you in a positive way. Suddenly, the seemingly little supply becomes dynamic seed money, giving rise to unbelievable increases. Niagara Falls would be of no use to us without the power plants that line the banks to convert the raw energy into usable electric current that blesses thousands of homes with power. In the same way, your money needs your creative ideas to become of use to you. It needs your faith and your vision. You see, you always have this vital choice. You may not have enough money to meet your need, but you always have within you the inlet that may become the outlet to all there is in God. As you turn the green side up and become centered in the divine flow, you create the condition in consciousness that makes the result inevitable. You are never further than one idea, one belief from all the wealth in the universe. Prosperity books use as examples tycoons such as Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie, as is discussed in Think and Grow Rich, to illustrate how you too can become a millionaire. The fact is, these people did not set out to make money if you read their stories. In each case, there was the sudden or progressive unfoldment of an idea, a thought, which in turn was translated into automobile plants and steel mills. The real substance that word I keep on saying, the real substance that made it all possible was ideas, creativity. Ideas are the flowing forth into the mind of the wealth of the universe. And every person has his or her own unique pipeline to the allness, the oneness of infinite mind. Thus, if you want to pattern your life after some tycoon role model, call to mind Paul's great thought and let the same mind that was in Christ Jesus be in you. You have open access in you to the same infinite mind resource as that which flowed so creatively through any person who has amassed great wealth by producing great things. Another interesting facet of the money enigma, the paper money you have in your pocket or purse at one time represented so much gold or silver, so there are many times as much currency as hard metal to back it up. Economists cringe and politicians view with alarm at what some consider the basic cause of inflation. Perhaps it is, but for you it is important to remember that wealth is not in money. Wealth is in ideas, and ideas can be controlled through the discipline of the mind that we teach through this podcast. As an example, suppose that all numbers are made out of little metal pieces and that it is against the law to print numbers for yourself. Every time you need to do a sum in arithmetic, you have to provide yourself with a supply of numbers, arrange them in proper order, and then work out your problem with them. And if the problem is extremely complicated, such as working on your income tax returns, you might have to go to a numbers bank to get a greater supply. That sounds ridiculous. And of course, numbers are not things. They're only ideas, and you can add or subtract or multiply or divide them as often as you like. You can have all the numbers you can use, and you can work out problems in your head without even writing them on paper, for they too are enabling symbols. Note the parallel with money. Money is an enabling symbol, but it symbolizes something that is limitless. If you're experiencing lack, you may go to a friend or to the bank to get a supply of those things we call dollars. It is interesting to note that Jesus went forth without scrip or purse. In other words, he could work the figures in his head. This refers to the rich mentality that attracts substance. As one man said, "Since I became aware that I am an individualized expression of the infinite flow of substance, I feel prosperous at all times." And the most amazing thing is the way money flows to me from all directions. I simply can't keep it away from me. In the business world, there's a common delusion that material capital, usually referred to as principal, is almighty. In other words, money is all important. Nothing else matters. This is completely erroneous. Any successful business venture demonstrates that integrity and service have been the keys to the public confidence which created the success. J.P. Morgan is reputed to have said, when he was asked about his practice of making large business loans on slender credit, "I look at his character before I look at his collateral." In other words, he was more concerned with what the person was worthy of than what he was worth. In every case, the real capital was spiritual principle. The key to any condition of lack is spiritual principle. Poverty is not corrected by dollars, but by non-material substance. You can give the man begging for money $1 or $5 or $10 to buy a cup of coffee, but even if he does buy the cup of coffee and something to eat, before the day is out, he will be hungry again. Unless there is a change in his consciousness, unless he awakens to the truth about his own relationship with the universe and gets in tune with his own unique flow of supply from within, nothing has changed. Poverty programs must begin to think hand up instead of hand out. The poverty of any society can be controlled, but only as people are introduced to the idea expressed by Emerson that every person is an inlet and may become an outlet to all there is in God. The prospering element will always be non-material substance, not money. And there can never be a shortage of this substance in the universe. Even within an apparent condition of indigence, the only lack in terms of the principle is the thought of lack. You're always as rich as you think you are, and the only poverty is of the mind. So you can begin to do something about your financial position in life right now by reshaping your attitudes about yourself, about money in general, and about your work or investments as the source of your money in particular. Once again, remember, money is good, money is God in action. Money is directly or indirectly involved in everything we do all day long. So it is imperative that we have a positive attitude about it. Appreciate it, bless it, keep open to its flow. In my episode from Charles Fillmore on prosperity, he gives some important thoughts about handling money positively and creatively. Watch your thoughts when you are handling your money, because your money is attached through your mind to the one source of all substance and all money. When you think of your money, which is visible, as something directly attached to an invisible source that is giving or withholding according to your thought, you have the key to all riches and all lack. Never allow money of any kind or amount to pass through your hands without blessing it, whether it is coming to you or going from you. To bless is an old-fashioned practice that needs to be rediscovered. The word means to confer prosperity or happiness upon. In other words, in handling money on any occasion, be sure to give it the imprint of positive attitudes. The money is a wonderful symbol of God's substance. Give thanks that it is continually pointing you towards the limitlessness of universal supply. Keep the awareness that it is currency, a movement of the divine flow. When it comes to you, give thanks that it has flowed from the infinite through your job or investment. When it goes from you, give thanks that there is no depletion, but actually an increase because you have kept it flowing. It is interesting what we do with symbols. Consider the Christian cross. Originally, the cross had a very dynamic meaning. It was the symbol of overcoming, of victory, pointing ahead to the empty tomb and the great demonstration of the resurrection principle. But as the years passed, it became a symbol of tragedy and pain and humiliation. The simple cross was adorned with the figure of Jesus dying an agonizing death. There is an Oriental adage that says, "The teacher points to the truth, the student worships the pointer." Thus, the cross has become an object of worship. This is precisely what all too often happens with money. Money is a symbol of the currency or flow of universal substance. And how we tend to worship the pointer, money becomes the object of life's search for meaning. Thus, whenever you experience any evidence of the flow of substance in your paycheck through investments, or as you pay your bills, or buy something at the supermarket, bless it. Keep the green side up. Let it suggest to you, in God I trust really. Determine that your money will always be a symbol of abundance, not of limitation. When you are firmly established in a balance of spiritual well-being, there will be a right and natural movement in your affairs wherein substance will flow forth freely in terms of the money to enable you to experience life more abundant. This is something I have worked on for a very long time. It took me a long time to change the way I thought about money. So when I talk to you about this stuff, I understand where you're coming from. I know you're struggling with it. When you have to make a big payment all of a sudden for something regarding to your kid's school or your car or something with your business, and then you have that little flutter in your heart, like, I don't have this to spend. I got to spend it. It's just too much. I can't spend it. I want you to step back and remember this episode. It's the way you spend your money, and I want you to really focus in on what is going on in your mind when you have money in your pocket, when you spend money, and how you spend it, what you think about it. I want you to think about that. There's this relationship with money. We've talked about it on several different levels. We've talked about security. We've talked about investment. We've talked about the way that money flows in money magnetism. And in this particular case, I'm just talking to you about spending money and the enigma of money, because you need to have it to survive. There's no way to avoid it. It is a fundamental part of this reality that we're in. You have to survive. There's nothing that you can do to get around it. There's no reason for you to feel guilty in getting it and obtaining it. But there is a way for you to think about money that will truly bless you in a powerful way and help you on your spiritual journey. And there will be no enigma when it comes to money when you understand it in this way. So go out and prosper and spend your money joyously and happily. When you do this, it's going to send out a signal that, oh, we need to give him or her more money so that we can feel this joy more often. I know that there are people that are listening to my voice right now that are scared, because I can feel it, that are worried, that are stressed about paying their next bill, paying their rent payment, their house payment, whatever it is. I feel your pain. I want to take it away from you for now, for just this little bit. Just give it to me. Send it my way. And I'm sending out love to transform it. I want you to send that to me. And I want you to put in the comments what's going on in your life. If you're struggling with something and you think that this is ridiculous, the things I'm saying, let me think about it. Let me put it in my mind. Put in the comments something that you're imagining to happen with this free flow of money. It's not the money, it's the experience that you want to have. It's the joy that you want to have. Talk to me about what you're struggling with. Tell me about it. Because it's going to stay in the basement and it's going to get moldy and stinky. Bring it out into the light. Let everybody else who's part of this group see your comment, and let us all share with you the love that we have for you, and let us bless you and transform you and see you as prosperous. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. Now available at newearth.art. Powerful fourth density technologies, art magic, sigils, images designed to magnetize and broadcast specific energies and intentions. You can access these images to help you find true prosperity, large sums of money, true love, radiant health and spiritual enlightenment with unique portals into the new earth. These images are available for you. You can acquire prints of any image. You can acquire magnets, mugs, iPhone cases, t-shirts, hoodies, greeting cards, coasters, and several different gallery wraps and styles of canvas. You can also get these images in a variety of different sizes and dimensions. You can purchase these in a variety of different ways, and they are here to enable you to transform your life. You can go to wall previews and look at these images, and you can check them out with different dimensions. In many cases, you can get images up to 72 inches for any of these images. They are designed as unique technologies for you to look into, infused with magical light at www.newearth.art. Welcome to the Reality Revolution.